Hello, everyone, and welcome to CallTower Tech Talks. I'm your host today, Kade Herbert. Joining us today, we have Frank Chevallier from Five9, where he's our subject matter expert in all things AI. So we're definitely eager to learn more about what he has to say about the state of AI right now and how it can really be transformative for the contact center space. So with that, I'll just dive right in. Frank, we're hearing all about how AI is transforming contact center and the contact center space. Where do you personally see AI making the biggest impact and why?
Hi, Kate. So thank you for the question. Well, I would say to understand where AI is making the biggest dent in the contact center, we really need to think about where the contact center is actually making the biggest dent in the overall CX, in the overall customer experience. So we see the market sees, the analysts see essentially four top areas of challenges in CX. And so the first one is essentially delivering that self-service magic, right? This is the
Yeah,
world of virtual assistants, voice bots, chat bots. It's nothing new, but here, Gen AI in particular, right, is totally revolutionizing their capabilities. And that's great actually going forward. The second challenge area in CX is really, and that's a new one. It's making
yeah,
agents superheroes. So making sense, right? Because as self-service automation delivers higher levels of resolution, right? The agent role must adapt to even more complex and higher value engagements. So we're at the point actually right now with generative AI where AI can truly empower agents with the right assistance, the right knowledge, the right guidance. So the goal is really to turn agents from really those reactive issue solvers really to proactive consultative advisors, right? A third area is also quite new in CX. It's really improving the overall customer journey in general. And that's where essentially I would call it a voice of customer insights or CX insights come into play. So it becomes essential now for the organization to be able to listen closely to what their customers are saying, make rapid CX improvement decisions, and this wasn't really easy before, but with the recent progress in AI, and again, generative AI, can analyze a ton of, amount of data, of conversations, of feedback, and really turn that into really precious insights for the
yeah,
CX team. And it's not just about the contact center anymore, it's really company-wide. And there's another area of CX that needs to be addressed. I mean, it's one of the top challenges is nothing of what we've discussed before really works without trust in AI. And customers are lagging behind. The trust in AI is not quite there yet. So we need powerful, AI solutions that actually deliver trust. And AI needs to be more accurate, fair, and secure. And that's the whole area of responsible AI. So to answer your question, AI is not just making a single dent, right? It's really addressing four key CX areas: the self-service, agent empowerment, customer insights, and trust.
absolutely. I know whenever I get good customer experience through a call center software, I always feel like someone's come and rescued me, right? So I feel like that superhero moniker is a really telling piece. So that makes a lot of sense.
And it's growing very fast.
Yes, absolutely. So Frank, you mentioned generative AI being the future of contact center and CX. It's very exciting. You also mentioned game-changing areas where generative AI brings the most. Could you really illustrate for us how you see AI transforming in areas like self-service and agent empowerment?
Sure. Sure. So generative AI is super exciting, right? So let me try to visualize this for you. So if we talk about self-service, that's what you're asking for. Well, again, this is the area that we sort of know about the voice bot, the chat bots, etc. So with Gen AI, so generative AI, you can think of it as self-service going the extra mile. So let me give you some examples of what it can do that essentially brings more value to
Okay.
self-service. The first one is Gen AI enables seamless handoffs with the agents, right? So imagine your chatbot auto-summarizing the key points, the action taken during that conversation with bot, right? At the time of the handoff to the agent. So that is pure context. And that context is insanely helpful to the agent. And we can talk about this in a second. But so a second aspect, let's say, of how to really improve self-service is Gen AI can finally deliver human-like and empathetic responses as part of the bot conversation. So that's a major deal because we can finally ditch those rigid,
Yeah.
robotic, cold chatbot responses that have been plaguing our conversations with bots for what, 10 years now,
Yeah,
right?
something
So
like
it's
that. Yeah.
it is just now
Just
it's
bad.
indistinguishable, right?
Yeah.
So with Gen AI, now the bots can answer in a human fashion, in a really empathetic fashion. So it is a big deal. And the third maybe example I can give you is that Gen AI really unlocks supercharged knowledge bots and actually also knowledge agents. So with Gen AI, what happens is you imagine your knowledge base, so your knowledge articles, your websites, your brochures, your whatever, truly coming to life. With Gen AI, essentially what you have is a technology that absolutely excels at matching even the most complex and the most ambiguous questions. Therefore, it can deliver much more accurate, much more summarized and personalized answers to both the consumer or the agent, really boosting the value of what you get out of a bot or out of an agent engagement, right?
Definitely.
So that's what Gen AI really brings to self-service. If we look maybe at agent empowerment, and again, that's a fairly new area that
Hmm.
could not really come to life before Gen AI, right? So
Right.
Gen AI really turns the agents into superheroes, and it really does. And it does this by delivering support at every step of every engagement for the agent. So you think about it as at the onset of an interaction, agents start the interactions armed with insights. Now, like we just discussed it, like the context of the bot conversation,
Hmm.
for instance, you can think about summary of past customer interactions, of the past customer issues. So now and finally, agents can retire, the very frustrating and clueless, how can I help you question, right?
Right.
And they can
They
start
already know in theory.
exactly.
Yeah.
They can start strong and informed, instead. So that's a major deal. During the interaction, Gen AI delivers multiple form of essentially real-time or live assistance, real-time transcripts, which is super helpful in a call, right? Suggested knowledge-based responses, so very powerful ways of answering based on the knowledge of the enterprise, real-time step-by-step guidance so that the each and every interaction is optimized so that agents don't forget about anything, automatic translation, right? All of that really serves the agent to manage that engagement to the best possible outcome. And after the interaction, generative AI makes after call work vastly more efficient. And it does that by what the market now understands very, very well, by summarizing interactions automatically and consistently, essentially saving agents very valuable time, right? So in conclusion, I would say, it's not just about improving what AI could actually do. It's actually with generative AI, what you get is radical new capabilities
Yeah.
brought to bear, right? So that essentially deliver the next level of agent and customer experiences.
Absolutely. So you're empowering that agent with additional context, additional knowledge, and they're able to make that really put that into the customer interface. That is
And at any point in the engagement, before, during, and after.
okay. I love that. That's fantastic, and I'm sure it's music to the ears of everyone who knows what they're doing over in the contact center space. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the earlier comment about kind of trusting that generative AI. So many people are kind of hesitant, I would say, or maybe need to understand a little bit more in order to get that AI, the generative AI, is something that's reliable and safe. We hear all things about the generative AI. There's been a lot in the press about how it does great things, but it also has reasonable things to be concerned about, pitfalls and what and that kind of confuses the market a little bit. A lot of organizations are struggling with the security aspect of it because sometimes it needs to be able to read a lot of data in order to make smart decisions. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for solutions that will help them deliver this responsible AI to their customers. So what do you think on that side of the AI conversation, what can be done to address those concerns from a vendor perspective?
Yeah, so it's a very, very, very big deal if we want adoption of the new technology. So you're absolutely right. In fact, just taking a few examples. So the recent headlines, for instance, like the one with DPD or the Air Canada chatbot fiasco, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really underscores the fact that building trust in AI, and even more so in generative AI, is absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
And vendors need to offer solutions for that. So for us, I talk about Five9 in particular because we really focus on responsible AI by design, right? It's important to us because we want maximum adoption of generative AI powered applications and solutions. So we just introduced, actually, just to illustrate all of this, a brand new application to address this challenge of building trust and responsible AI. And we call it Five9 Gen AI Studio, which literally announced last week. So to illustrate what it is and why it's important, think of it as your central control center that really helps an organization deliver that responsible AI. And physically what it does, it lets organizations customize, personalize, test, and monitor all Gen AI output coming out of all applications in the contact center. And this is to ensure really consistent, reliable, and trustable Gen AI responses, right? So now, physically, you think about it as an application, and a user experience that lets you define the generative AI boundaries. It helps you craft the storyline of what Gen AI should follow and the guardrails that it should never cross, right? It also lets you infuse Gen AI with your brand's knowledge base, right? So this is to ensure that all responses, Gen AI responses, are grounded in your trusted knowledge data and nothing else. So
Right.
that eliminates the risk for hallucination or obviously AI going totally wrong, right?
Yeah.
So we also realize that trust is not only about everything I've just mentioned, but it's also about the flexibility of using the underlying large language model technology. Not everybody, not every organization will trust the processing technology such as OpenAI or Google,
Right.
etc. So as a vendor, we need to be agnostic to this. So with Five9 Gen AI Studio, an organization can choose the foundational model, as we call them, the
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI, the Google, the
Yeah.
Microsoft Azure, etc. They can choose the model that they want to process the Gen AI responses, or they can even bring their own, right? Because organizations will eventually develop their own corporate, in-house LLM models. We ought, as a vendor, to be able to leverage those models as well. So all of this is really to bring the trust in Gen AI.
Right.
So essentially, to answer your question, right? So ultimately, the vendors need to empower organizations to really achieve responsible AI on their terms, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the path absolutely necessary to build the trust in Gen AI and then boosting the adoption of it.
Right. Well, the way I see it is that you at Five9, um, as a responsibility to your customers and to your clients, you get to kind of have you can open up the brain, if you will, of the AI system, right? And see this is the knowledge base that it's going to be pulling from. These are the available responses. Essentially, you get to brand and control the knowledge base inside that brain, and make sure that that brain is going to do what it wants or what you want it to do, rather than what it might want to do on its own or something like that, right?
That
So it's a
that's
very
ex
healthy, transparent perspective.
Absolutely. That's exactly that. So the power of the technology is so great that we really need to guide it
Yeah,
in a way that we build trust, we avoid any of the pitfalls, because that would be a disaster for an organization. So
yeah,
having the right tools and guardrails in place and the right simple, intuitive technology to really achieve this is absolutely critical for adoption.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Frank. This has been really enlightening for me. I hope our audiences really like it too. Hopefully, it'll kind of dissuade some of those fears that might be kind of inherent in learning about AI, the big scary robots, and also really see kind of a hands-on look at how those agents are going to be empowered by having some of this technology in their systems as well. So, thank you so much for joining us today, Frank. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
perfect.